Deborah is 19 years old. She is in the last semester of her apprenticeship program in Vienna. She already has a job opportunity waiting for her right after she graduates at the same company where she is currently doing her training.
Currently, I'm an apprentice at Kapsch. I'm working as an electrical engineering for telecommunication.
The apprenticeship programs last from 3 to 4 years depending on the specialisation. The model is called dual system, which means they combine theoretical and practical aspects.
It's the best that you can learn the theoretical part and the practical part, so you're already trained to what you're doing in your future in the company, and you're like every other employee there.
The costs of the training are partially covered by the Austrian government and partially covered by the participating company, which tend to keep the apprentices as employees after they finish the training program.
We have problems to find skilled employees, so in a way, if you like, we are producing them ourselves. We like to see that former apprentices take opportunities and also are making career here in the Kapsch company. Giving you an example, the managing director of Kapsch Components was a former apprentice.
Austria is one of the EU countries that is currently maximising the benefits that apprenticeships bring.
In principle, we have a very good system. It's a very stable system.
Those countries that have a well-developed apprenticeship system also have, on average, lower levels of youth unemployment. In August 2018, the youth unemployment rate in the EU 28 was 14.8%, while in Austria it was 8.4%, and in Germany, where close to half of the country's youngsters choose apprenticeships, it was 6.2%. In Slovakia, the dual education system got a boost in recent years after the adoption of a new law on work-based learning in 2015. This came as a response to an increase in the unemployment rate of school graduates and a shortage of employees with technical knowledge in some areas.
The system was existing in the past, some 20-30 years ago, maybe 30 and more. Then, the market economy sort of killed it. Now we are back in sort of finding value in that form of education.
The new law allowed employers to design specific training curricula tailored to their needs.
Parts of the IT are now getting old, let's say, and there are new areas where we should start, or we see the opportunities.
But the system still needs to be expanded.
Actually, we started as a first company in Slovakia that in IT and communication area opened their dual program, and after 5 years we are still the only one.
The participating companies receive some incentives from the state, such as tax concessions, and the apprentices with the best results get scholarships.
I can have a great jump start into my work life, and I'd like to be an adult so much, so I'd like to work in IT company or also in some big company, so this was my decision. This is the best choice for me.
Differences in the models and cost-effectiveness of apprenticeship schemes across Europe still impact on their attractiveness to companies and to prospective candidates. Efforts are needed to modernise national frameworks. France is one of the countries that has recently made reforms in their apprenticeship system in order to make it more attractive for youngsters and for participating companies. One of the main improvements was to increase employer involvement in the apprenticeship programs. The companies can select the candidates, contribute to the design of the curricula, and deliver part of the training.
The aim also of this reform is to involve companies from the beginning. It will be possible to have also their own competence center and their own training center. Not having people who do something which are going nowhere, it will be really dedicated training.
Marie-Christine is the president of the French Commission for Education, Formation and Competences and helped negotiate the changes in the apprenticeship model with the trade unions and the government. Having reached an agreement, now there are different kinds of challenges to tackle.
Now, if we increase the number of apprentices, it's because a lot of them are doing engineering school or to become marketing or to become salespeople. So it's completely different. But who we have to convince is parents and also teachers.
In Spain, there is no national unified apprenticeship program. Each region has a different model. To improve the system and the legal framework of dual education, a network of companies, centres and institutions created an alliance.
We went to the public system, the vocational training of the public system, to see if there were some students available for us. And what we saw is that those students were not enough qualified and they didn't know exactly what the business was about. We tried to convince the authorities to provide more practical training to them, and after a couple of years they came up with this vocational training system.
On European level, the Council of the European Union in Brussels published a recommendation in 2018 on quality and effective apprenticeships. It includes the aim that the majority of the training time should be spent in the workplace, which is currently only the case in a few member states. Miriam initially did a 2-year apprenticeship program, of which only 3 months were spent training at a company. Not having found a job after she graduated, Miriam decided to take part in a dual education system, where she had 1 year of theoretical classes and another year training at an airline company.
Pues me parece mucho más interesante el segundo, la formación dual, ya que con el primer programa tú haces 2 años de teoría y al finalizar haces 3 meses de prácticas, y en el segundo haces 1 año entero de teoría y 1 año entero de práctica. Entonces en 1 año entero de práctica la empresa te puede enseñar mucho más, formar mejor y conocerte, y si realmente están interesados en ti, quedarse contigo y ya contratarte.
After she graduated in this second apprenticeship program, Miriam was hired and has been working at the same company for 5 years. Apprenticeships need to be further promoted across the EU so the potential benefits that this form of training can bring are fully achieved.
As employers, we need to create more apprenticeship opportunities, and I urge all my colleagues around Europe to welcome apprentices. As an entrepreneur, I have many apprentices in my own company. It is fruitful because it's a way to mobilize employees around knowledge transmission, and at the same time, the young women and men that are apprentices can bring new ideas and make people evolve.